What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 26. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
It's good to be here with you today.
It's good to be here with you today, Colin Moriarty. How excited were you when you went into your room today and saw that I gave you like 5 new chamois I found?
I saw that. Yeah, that's very great. Thank you.
No
I didn't
problem.
know
That's what I
that
did
was
for
a
you.
joke, or I didn't.
No, I cleaned
know.
up around here this weekend, combined these office things I had, found a whole bunch of chamois that are just sitting out there, not being used. And if one man loves a good chamois, it's Colin Moriarty.
I do. I love a good chamois. I think they're called microfiber cloths, but they're not a chamois.
I mean, we'll have to get a ruling from the audience on that. Pretty sure if you go to wikipedia.com/chamois, that's what pops up. Just a picture of that bad boy.
It's a microfiber cloth.
That may be the scientific name. It's kind of like, cats are named felines, but like you call them cats.
That's a good point. Actually. But wait a minute. But what you're saying, I see. Wait. Okay. All right. Never mind. Okay.
You got a scientific name.
Right. Okay.
It's like,
Microfibrous clothagus.
Oh, you mean a chamois? Of course, the chamois. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, PSI Love You XOXO is KindaFunny.com's PlayStation podcast. It is the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet, and it comes to you each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. There's one big YouTube video over on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, so go subscribe, and iTunes and podcast services around the world. Rate us on iTunes. It helps out. Colin, did you play anything this weekend?
No, not really. I mean, I haven't played anything on console since we last spoke because we recorded the show on Sunday, and then on Monday we went to Texas, and then I was gone. I just got back like literally an hour ago from my own trip. So no, but I did play on Vita. You gave it a shout out, but I want to give it another special shout out. That game Foul Play.
Oh, Foul Play, yeah.
Pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Game's pretty dynamic. I mean, that's a really nice idea for a game. Beat 'em up, side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Where you're acting out stage plays.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a crowd, and you're trying to impress the crowd. Like they're basically your health meter.
Yeah.
So you're doing combos and trying to kill things and like you're beat them up in different ways. And I really like how like everything's acted out, like when you kill an enemy or kill an enemy in quotes, wherever he like if you pay attention, he like crawls off the stage. And
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
Like as if he's an actor. It's like really, or like runs to the front and like kind of ducks down and runs off the stage. I think it's like really.
It's a cute
It's
idea.
a nice idea.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of Vita games we need.
Yeah, guy has a platinum and a lot of in-game challenges that seem to be pretty tough and some leveling and stuff like that. It's pretty. Yeah, so I mean that's basically it. Last week. Yeah,
I played a lot of Vita too. Of course, we went to Rooster Teeth. Shout out to Rooster Teeth for putting us on so many Let's Plays and shows. That was great. We've talked about that for a while already. Played a lot of Vita stuff. Played more of that Volume. Marching my way to that platinum on Volume.
It's a great game.
It's a great game. I always thought it was going to go quicker than it went. You know what I mean? Like when we first got it, or when we first talking to Michael about it, he's like 100 levels. Go ahead.
I know what you mean. Do you still want me to do that?
Yeah,
or?
I do.
Okay.
Because for me, it's just something I don't think about.
I know. I really
just
didn't start hearing it until I saw other people saying it. I think we've probably been saying it for years.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a lot of our things that are little ticks I don't think we notice.
Sure.
But that's a meaty game. It's more meaty than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
it's got 100 levels. I'll steam through that, and I'm still like, I think I just got to the 50s. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn,
It's pretty substantive.
Yeah, love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I meant to get back to it. I haven't because the trophies were broken, so it kind of slowed me down.
That's what happens when you leave a British person there to make something.
Yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're doing over there.
No, nothing.
And I what else? Oh, I downloaded Hitman Go, but I didn't. But I just haven't gotten to it yet. And it's supposed to be great. So, but I mean now all bets are off because we have the Division and all this. And are you can speak about it, but I guess you haven't really seen.
I'm an hour into the Division.
You have nothing to say.
Really awesome opening. You know what I mean? I'm glad I've stayed away.
I know what you mean.
I've stayed away as long as I can, Colin. You know what I mean? I stayed away.
I know.
I didn't watch the things. I didn't want to know anything about them. You know what I mean? Only like the last one was real or fake. But no, you're going to love this opening of this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't expecting it to open the way it did because I thought it was going to open the way the beta had. And I played like, 45 minutes to an hour of the beta.
Sure.
Enough. That's what I want. And so right now I feel like I just got, an hour in through the last mission that really felt like it was like, lift off. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Now it's like we're going to move to the next part. Did I say it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now.
Damn it. I don't even realize it. That's fucking weird. I gotta start thinking every word I say.
No, it's with likes and ums. I mean, it's the same thing.
I know what you mean.
That's enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of a rock and a hard place with the Division because I have my copy. But I just I'm inundated with media right now, and there are other things that just take precedent.
Sure.
Tonight after we record this, we're recording. It's like it's like 7 something.
Yeah.
My fault because my plane was also delayed.
Yeah.
We
got some Dynamite Let's Plays out of the way while you were gone, so don't worry.
Fantastic. So I have to watch Downton Abbey's last episode
You have
tonight.
to.
I absolutely have to. It's an end of an era.
Oh, wait, Governor.
And someone's gonna spoil it for me, and I'm gonna fucking kill someone if they spoil it Downton Abbey for me. So I have to get that out there. Some old 75-year-old vindictive
British
bitch
person.
is gonna.
I've heard you guys making fun of us with the oys a lot,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to send you this little tweet.
So I gotta kind of get that over with. Sad to see it go. This last season,
But you love watching it leave.
this last season not very good, and this is
Really?
not very good at all. And this is it's just nonsense. A lot of it, I don't understand what the fuck's going on with half these arcs or why they're even in the show at all. It's weird how bad it is actually. So I hope that this like kind of brings it all back. I won't spoil Downton Abbey, one of the beloved shows in the world, of course. For any,
It jumps 30 years in the future, right?
I hear the last episode 1985. Very weird. And then House of Cards, which so I got to get that out of the way. So that's gonna take some time. Then Aaron's gonna be here this weekend, so I don't know like when I'm gonna play the division. It might not happen for a while, but I the other side of the coin is that I might find time even tonight to just jump into it after. Like I'll watch Downton Abbey. I'm gonna go get ramen, tonkatsu if you were curious. A little bit of pork belly in it. A couple eggs, two eggs, butter.
Now, when you say two eggs, do they give you 4 halves total?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I did that the other day, expecting that I'd get 2 halves, but I got the 4 halves, and I was like, oh, okay.
No,
I always thought
2 whole eggs.
I always thought they were just giving you half an egg when you ordered the egg.
No. So I'm gonna get my tonkatsu. I'll watch down, and then maybe if there's time, and I don't know if there will be or not, I'll jump into the division, and then I gotta get through House of Cards. Is really my priority.
House of Cards was fun. When we were in Texas, we were in a meeting at one point, a top secret meeting. We had many top secret meetings about shoes and Gus. But when we were there, I was sitting there. I'm like, if we were at home, or if this was like IGN, I should say, probably a better example. I'd go home from work right now. You know what I mean? Like I can feel the sickness onsetting, but I fought it off the entire week there.
Yeah, you sound like someone kicked you in the throat.
I know. And then I gave up the goose, as they say, on Thursday night, and I got home and I was like, now I'll let myself be sick. And I woke up Friday and didn't leave the bed, except for when Kevin made me leave the bed. But I stayed in bed and watched all House of Cards. Good stuff.
The whole day you watched it. So that's like 13 hours, 14 hours. That's not a bad idea. That's what it's there for.
You don't have to do it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
here's what I want to tell you.
Yeah.
A lot of people have already tuned off and they've looked in the YouTube comments to see when they jump to when the news starts. So I'll have to say this again later.
Okay.
But I want everyone out there to know something right now, is that we, kind of funny, we at PS I Love You XOXO have the opportunity to exclusively reveal a game that's coming to Vita.
Really?
Yes.
Is it a big game?
No, not at all. Indie game.
Yeah.
Oh, you love indie games. What are you talking about?
I'm a fan of an indie game or two.
And the way to do it is that we put up a Let's Play secretively today. It's gone live, unlisted. It's annotated at the end of this episode. You can click on it there and go watch us play it on the PlayStation 4 and then hear that it's coming out.
Interesting.
So you can wait and you can do it. Eventually at 12:30, I'm going to put it live for everybody. But I just wanted to say right now, something's brewing. Maybe the gaff is already on it, seeing it. And they're like, I can't believe they didn't just say the name, because they made people leave the podcast to go jump and watch it. And then you got there and it wasn't even like that big of a game. But it's a big game to them, damn it. These indie developers.
I'm yawning. That has nothing to do with that. It is a little late.
No, I know.
I'm tired. It's been a weekend.
I've never seen that. You know what I mean? If I was, you know what I mean? If I was,
I'm sorry. I might be even tuning out of that. I got to be on my ball here.
If I was really bored with somebody, I feel like this is with most people, you'd go out of your way to seem not bored. Like, you know what I mean? I can't think of the times I've ever yawned at somebody and like literally, you are boring.
That's a good point. Why aren't you yawning? Should be the question. Am I not interesting? You're not yawning. You're not comfortable yawning in front of me. That's a good point. I will also. Hold on, this is bothering me because this isn't folded properly.
You want me to go get one of the other ones? I gave you a whole bunch.
No, don't do that.
Some are brand new. Some have been lightly used.
Don't do that.
The old chamois.
I don't remember what I was going to say. It can't possibly be that important.
It was about yawning.
I'm brain dead right now.
Okay, don't worry about it. Before we jump into what is and forever will be the Roper's Reports, whatever the hell it's called, I want to thank Kevin Coelho. In between last PS I Love You XOXO and this PS I Love You XOXO, he went down to LA all by himself, played No Man's Sky, interviewed Sean Murray. We put it up. Thank you very much, Kevin, for doing that for us. Did you watch the interview? Are you on blackout on that game? Or you just not care that much? Yeah.
No, I care. I just don't.
It's a good interview for little Kevy.
Little Kevy?
Yeah. Wore a suit. Sean Murray was adorable and British as well.
Why is he wearing a suit?
Because he wants to not look like the schlubs we are.
I don't think we look like schlubs.
You came in here literally with a shirt with a giant hole in the chest a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
So I think
but I was low on laundry, to be fair.
It's fair. I'm just saying I don't think you can say you don't look like a schlub when you got the Grizzly Adams beard going and the old holy shirt there.
Yeah, I'm gonna buzz the beard down.
Well, now it looks good. I'm just saying, but remember that was before you trimmed it back.
It's all right.
Let me see it. Move your hand. Looks fine.
A little it's a little something happening to it. I don't.
Got too many strays, too many flyaways.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you can't get too crazy with it because with shaving it down because where does it end? You know what I mean? Like if the
skin, you imagine.
Well, that's a good point, but I mean in terms of like just getting these little strays, then you get out in the shower, you just like mess it up a little bit, and there are new ones. Then before you know it, you have no fucking beard hair left. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do understand. Now you're making points. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So, but yeah, I'm just it's been a long weekend. I'm tired. That trip to Austin for Top Secret things was fun, but
Top Secret Let's Plays it already like.
But yeah, no, it was good. And then saw 311 last night, so I was out a little late. A lot of kids smoking dank Yarnum Nugs at the show.
Oh, were
I've never
they?
seen that before.
You see Galvatron there smoking them?
No, I didn't see Galvatron on the show. No,
Yeah.
no. A lot of dank Yarnum Nugs smoking though at that show, that 311 show. Bad kids.
Bad kids breaking the law. It's leave that on there, right?
How dare you?
How dare you, sir? Let's begin the show with what is and forever will be Roper's Report. Time for some news.
Where is it? There it is. There are 9 items on the list.
The Raspy Baker's dozen.
Number 1, Uncharted 4: Thief's End has been delayed yet again. However, this delay isn't too bad, pushing the game only a couple of weeks. To explain the delay, Sony Computer Entertainment America's CEO Sean Layden took to the PlayStation blog to say the following, quote, "As you know, Naughty Dog is wrapping up production on Uncharted 4: Thief's End, with the game on track to go gold and into production later this month. In an effort to meet the considerable worldwide demand and to ensure that all gamers worldwide have the opportunity to play the game on day one, we have chosen to postpone the launch of the game by 2 weeks to allow for extra manufacturing time. Therefore, Uncharted 4: Thief's End has a new worldwide release date of May 10th, 2016. We know this news might be disappointing, and we are sorry to have to make you wait a little longer to play Naughty Dog's latest. The good news is that the game is phenomenal. We are fully confident that it will be worth the wait, and the team at Naughty Dog is eager as ever for you to experience Nathan Drake's final adventure. We thank you for your continued support for PlayStation," end quote. And then Jackie T also took to the Pation blog to say, "Hey guys."
I was gonna say, man, Shawnee telling us it's fantastic. Yeah. Awesome, I can take that.
Yeah,
Take it to the bank if Sean.
I like that. The good news is that the game is phenomenal. He says.
You think he beat it yet?
Probably, and you have to assume. I'm sure that
how many
game,
platinums does he have, Sean Layden?
Probably none.
You think he's on the? Can we follow him? Is he verified on the
probably
PSN?
Not. Well,
by the way, I'm verified on the PSN. Follow me.
That reminds me. That's something
You're
I wanted
right.
to say.
I'm glad it reminded Colin to remind you to remind me to follow me. Verified on the PSN.
I have to. I'm not much of a social media whore, as it were. Like some people I know. I'm not pointing at my hand. I'm pointing through my hand.
That's the problem. Is like you're spreading your fingers. Like you're supposed to close your fingers, so I wouldn't see what's on the other side. When you do it like that, I thought you were about to show me you don't know how sex works either.
No, I don't. Ask any woman.
You open the vagina, and then you pick the hole.
Pick the hole that you want. You have 4 options. I joined Instagram, and it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I'm understanding a little bit more.
Okay,
but I don't know how long I'm trying to use it with some frequency because I feel like you should use it like once a day or something like that to be kind of like
in the conversation.
So
follow him on Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram.
KF Moriarty.
KF Moriarty.
All one word.
Yeah.
Follow me on the PSN. Game Over Greggy. I might start deleting random people from my friends list because now you can just follow me and have all the benefits of it.
That's a good idea.
That was our problem. Now that we have the 2,000 friends, I mean, woe is us, first world problems. But it's just like I can't use that friends list for anything. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I fucking know what you mean. Okay?
Follow me on the PSN, Greg Miller. Game Over Greggy.
All right. Now back to the news. This sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. Now I'm curious so there's 2 things about this. A, Sean Layden taking to the blog this to announce it, not Naughty Dog, not Neil or Bruce.
Yeah.
Not even Shuhei. And 2, the game's set to go gold and into production later this month. So March.
Mm-hmm.
They need 40 plus days to get the game from gold to a disc into a store. That's a little strange to me.
They need it to make as many copies as they need, though.
If Call of Duty if Activision can figure this out with Call of Duty and I think they could probably figure out Uncharted 4, which is going to sell very well. It's going to have millions of copies, but it's not. This just was a weird one to me. I don't know if I'm just crazy.
It didn't seem like a normal one to me either. You know what I mean?
I think they're giving Naughty Dog cover.
Probably. Yeah, they don't want. I mean, it's been a.
And I don't mean any insult by that. I'm just saying, I think that Naughty Dog's we actually need just a a little more time.
Sure.
And we can't ask for it.
Right. We've already done that once.
Yeah,
we don't want to
twice. So now
burn all the goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, all right, like we'll do this and say it's the manufacturer because it doesn't make any sense. Like games go gold and are in store sometimes 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. I don't get it. I don't know. So
Sean's not telling us the whole story. Is what's up. Neither's Neil. We have a
Jackie T would have told us, but they deleted his PlayStation blog post. They were like,
Oh
"How
my
did you still
God.
have access to this?"
Yeah, he just popped in there. He's like, let me give you the
He's
real
like, "Hey,
story,
guys."
PlayStation numbers are through the roof.
Jackie
Heisum
T.
wrote in to PSI or kindoffunny.com/PSQ where you can post your questions and says, Uncharted 4 has been delayed again. I normally agree with the XOXO crew. If the developers need more time to make the game better, then they should take it. But I think this last delay, especially so close to release, is just incredibly frustrating. How many delays are okay before we stop giving developers a pass? Parentheses, I'm looking at you, Mighty Number 9. And what are the acceptable reasons for a delay? I don't think waiting to print more copies is a good enough reason. At least give us our digital copies. P.S. Don't worry, it happens to every guy. I still love you.
I don't get it. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand the explanation. The better thing would have been to say the game's going to go gold later than we thought. And we need more time to manufacture. At least that makes sense to me. I don't understand how you need literally 45 days or so to get the game.
They're printing a lot of copies, man.
Greg, the game's going to sell like
world.
5 million copies or something on disc. Like I don't, you know.
I mean, that's what Sean's saying. I agree that I think it's just them covering. I think it's just they need a little bit more time and they didn't want to go back out there and get.
It's starting to make me a little nervous.
Now, really?
Yeah. Not that the game's not going to be phenomenal. He says it's phenomenal. I'm sure it is phenomenal.
Sean
But
Lane,
what are they like trying to finish right now that like isn't
maybe that painting was in more cutscenes and stuff than we thought it was.
That would be funny as hell.
That was
but
the real
wouldn't
reason.
take 2
like,
weeks.
you gotta go back. Find another painting.
There's a whole mission based around that painting. And now it's just a scribbly like child's drawing.
It's like the first clue you find. It's like sets you off, and you have to do all this stuff.
It's like a kindergartner's fucking crayon painting.
But to Heisman's question, how many delays? When does it start to wear out? Because we do say it right when Uncharted got officially delayed, and we were #Colin was right, and we're like, but take your time, make the game great, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, when do we slip into Mighty Number 9 territory where we don't talk about that?
We don't talk about that game anymore. Notice that I never. Here's another one for you.
Sure.
No, a lot of people didn't pick up on this. No Axiom Verge Vita talk on PS I Love You because I'm not giving attention to these games that string us along in perpetuity forever. You understand what I'm saying?
But Uncharted's doing that to us.
No. Uncharted, they're playing there's some weirdness going on with Uncharted, but there's literally 6 months between when it was supposed to come out when it's out now.
Mm-hmm.
And these delays don't seem to be that egregious. This last one just seems to be weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're in like, Axiom Verge or Mighty Number 9 territory by any stretch of the imagination. And I respect the shit out of both those games, and I respect the people that make those games, of course. I'm just saying, like, eventually, he asks, like, when do we start holding publishers accountable and all these kinds of things? Well, I'm holding them accountable on the show by not bringing their fucking games up anymore. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't think it's fair for some guy to be driving to work one day and be like, oh, by the way, you were supposed to get Axiom Verge last March on Vita. It's in development right now for Vita and doesn't look like it's anywhere near being done. Like, that's the news you need to hear right now?
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, now I do. I didn't understand where we're going with the guy driving his car.
And he's like, he's looking.
I thought he was on his way to pick up the game from the store, and then
no. No one goes to no.
I mean, maybe he does want updates on where Axiom Verge is.
No, that's true, but I'm the arbiter of the information.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Very true.
And so I like to stand up for all of us collectively. Mr. Happ, great man, working hard on it. Mr. Edelman, great man, working hard on it. Keiji Inafune, friend of ours, working hard on it. But at some point, that's when I draw the line where I'm like, I feel like you have to draw the line in the sand. You have to say there's no more to be done with this until the game's out and in my hands. Then we'll talk about it. We'll be very fair. I'm sure Axiom Verge on Vita is gonna be fantastic, but I'll believe it when it's in my goddamn hands.
Gotcha.
And with Mighty Number 9, don't even get me fucking started on that game because I am so close to being completely over it. They delay that game one more time, I'm never gonna play it. I'm just letting you know right now. They delay that game one more time.
And that's the end.
And that's it.
The love story
I'll never
ends.
fucking play it. Hold me to it. Look at my trophies. Do whatever you need to do. I'm not fucking playing it.
Okay.
So the next date that they reveal better be the goddamn date Because let's not forget, Mighty Number 9 has been delayed twice for multiplayer. The game's done, and it has been done for a long time. Release the fucking game.
And these are delays that are pushing it back like years.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
In comparison to Uncharted.
Now, I'm going to tell you this.
Lay it on me with your smart water.
This bottle's going to last like a good week and a half.
Is this the same one, or is it the new? You just picked this up in the airport?
I just got this in the airport.
Is it on the new train? Yeah.
Now, I ordered, well, I didn't order. I actually went to a store and picked it up. The water.
You Amazon primed a bottle of water.
The water got some honey roasted cashews, $3.99.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But I only finished half the bag at the airport.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
But I had a little surprise in my bag. Which pleased, not a tarantula. Not a tarantula, but close. When I was in Austin, I was there for like 5 hours in the airport waiting to go to San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
I got fucking bombed at the unintentionally at the bar writing. I'm writing something, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
Gotta be honest with you, pretty good.
When will we see it?
We'll see.
Okay.
I'll show it to you what I have now. It's a nice little thing.
Is it any of the things I know about, or is this a new thing?
No, new thing.
Okay.
But fiction.
About a tarantula?
No. But I see that you have a fixation now. And I was at this bar and just drinking bourbon, and the guy, like, it was so crowded, and I kept asking to cash out, and then like 10 minutes later, the guy would be like, I'm like, just give me another one. And that happened like 5 times. Eventually I leave. I go, before that I had bought some peppered beef jerky.
Yeah, of course you
and
have.
shoved it in my computer bag.
Jack Links?
Jack Links,
yeah.
Precisely. Red and black bag.
Oh yeah, very distinctive.
Put it in my laptop bag, forgot it even existed because I was drunk when I got on the plane. Flew to San Diego, was there for 4 days. Lo and behold, as I shoved the cashews in the pocket.
Yeah. Bonus
double
beef jerky.
Fucking whammy.
Yeah.
So I got the headphones on. I'm watching Fox News.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Sure.
Because the Democrats were doing a town hall. I'm fucking eating these cashews. I'm eating this beef jerky.
At any point, did you crush the cashews up, put them on the beef jerky, roll the beef jerky, eat it like that? Yeah.
I think you're going to ask me that I crushed the cashews and snort it like Coke.
Just brush them on the floor. Fuck you, Virgin America.
The guy next to me on the plane, by the way, playing. I was on one. Have you been on one of the retrofitted planes for Virgin America that have free internet?
I have not been. Why is it free?
It's just free. Like, so instead of using GoGo, like that garbage.
Oh yeah.
They just have Virgin America internet.
Oh,
now.
that's fucking rad.
And I think so I'm on this plane, like 2 of these planes every once in a while because I think there's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
And so I always check, and usually I'm not, but once in a while the fleet so works so that I'm on.
Thank you, Sir Richard Branson.
And this guy next to me we don't have anyone in the middle of us, is playing internet poker, pulling a Colin Moriarty like move when I'm talking on the phone and I'm in your like armpit.
Yeah.
Where he's like playing poker like during the descent, and like these people like, put your laptop away. Yeah, I guess he's in the middle of a game or something.
He's like, I'm up $3 million.
That'd be awesome. He's up $3 million. Like, don't land this fucking plane.
You can arrest me when I land Air Marshal.
I'll pay you all $25,000 not to land this plane. All right, number 2. PlayStation 4's upcoming firmware update 3.50 has been outlined. Codenamed Musashi, after Brave Fencer Musashi. The beta is currently underway for the firmware, which includes the following new features. PS4 will now alert you when friends sign online, and you can now appear offline while remaining connected to PSN. So one of the features that PS3 did, although it would be quite overwhelming to have 2,000 friends, and I would probably murder myself.
Another reason why I'm gonna have to start deleting people one day, but I won't do it because I'm lazy.
So no one will know you're there if you want with the offline feature, which is great. I'll probably use that all the time. You can schedule future gameplay sessions with your friends using the so-called user-scheduled event system. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you have a little calendar thing. And you can utilize the Play Together feature, which allows members of a single party to see what others are playing and then jump in and out of those games seamlessly. So that's pretty neat, too. Perhaps most significantly, however, Windows PC and Mac will now support PlayStation 4 Remote Play, similar to the Vita's special functionality. So,
goodbye, Vita.
Yeah, I mean,
they're jettisoning your body into space.
This is significant.
This is This is the white flag. The one thing you could hang your hat on with the Vita, now gone forever. Probably greatly improved on your laptop. Now you just bring your controller. You're off working. You're playing that instead of video poker.
A tarantula?
You reach in your bag, giant black tarantula.
You're a psychopath.
I don't know why. I was looking at you and then the song started. You know what I mean? Just the daylight come and black tarantula. You remember this song?
Yeah, I do. But by the way, I tweeted out our conversation earlier when I'm yelling from my room to your room, and I'm like, I'm ready to record P.S. I Love You, and you're like, what? And I'm like, I'm ready to record P.S. I Love You. You're like, oh, season 1, episode 13 or something like that. And I was like,
I filled in some gaps. I'm sorry.
what?
You waited to yell until the West Wing intro started. You know what I mean? Like I was watching the West Wing, and then it does the little intro bit. Then you got the whole the credits, and you yelled then. And I thought you said what you know about West Wing because you always talk about you watch the West Wing.
I love the West Wing.
Yeah. So I thought that's what you said, and I was like, what? And I'm in there, and I got the surround sound going. I'm enjoying myself, and I can hear you mouthing down here. I didn't know you were ready for the show. I just thought you were commenting on the music.
You know who else loves the West Wing? David Jaffe, who complains that we don't talk about his game on this
Maybe
show
he should
enough.
release his game.
And we're not probably going to talk about it until it's out in the wild.
Maybe he should release that game.
But we will talk about David Jaffe's love of the West Wing.
Okay. That's okay. I have to send him a T-shirt. I got a Baker's Dozen T-shirt.
I saw that. I said I'm not going to ask why there's an envelope with David Jaffe's name on it on the kitchen table. I'm just going to let that
questions.
go. All right. Next.
He opens it up. Black tarantula.
Careful, Mr. Jaffe. Number 3. No Man's Sky finally has a release date. The game will launch on both PlayStation 4 and PC on June 21st. And I think it's getting a special edition only on PC, which is a little weird.
Yeah, very weird, right? That was my reaction too when I saw that.
You can head to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to see our interview with Hello Games Sean Murray.
Good job, Kevin.
But in the meantime, the biggest news is that the game will be getting a full retail release on Blu-ray in addition to its digital release, which was shocking to me because I didn't think the game was that big. Shockingly, there's still no word on if the game will support PSVR, at least in the blog post. I think that he must have talked about this in the...
Kevin asked him, yeah. And he didn't give the flat out no. He's like, that'd be interesting. Blah, blah,
It'd be
blah.
so shocking, wouldn't it? What are you looking at?
I'm trying to see if you have... We haven't done the show in a while. Do you have next week's event on here?
We talked about it last week, I think.
Was it? I thought that was the thing that broke.
No, we talked
after
about
the
it
fact.
last week.
Okay, cool. Then
I'm
great.
positive about that.
Then I'm going to insert this question from Little Myth. He wrote in, or she did. Yeah, just Little Myth is all I got. Wrote in to kindoffunny.com/PSQ and said, hi, Greg and Colin. March 15th is around the corner, and I'm wondering what you think will be Sony's flagship VR title at their GDC event. I've heard Greg hypothesize that it would be No Man's Sky, but I think he might be wrong after watching the Sean Murray interview this week. My impression from Sean Murray's reaction to Kevin's prodding, the sexy potato did good with that, was that it was in the works, but his team was too small to make it in time for launch. I believe Sony's flagship VR thing at the GDC event will be Ben's new game. It makes sense since Sony would tap them to showcase new hardware just like they did for the Vita with Golden Abyss. Is March 15th what Shuhei has been waiting for to announce this title, or does Shuhei just want to see Colin's head explode out of frustration? Thanks, Little Myth. P.S. Please don't make fun of my grammar mistakes. This is a lot of people have been asking me about this. No Man's Sky release date announced June 21st. It's still it's in the window there, the summer when they originally said VR. Now we have the VR event next week. What does it mean? In my heart of hearts, the prediction's been made. I picked up the boulder and I threw it in the lake, and now it's in the lake and I can't get it back out. You know what I mean? You and I'd have to swim down to the bottom of this lake with scuba gear and stuff and like some kind of pulley system.
And a tarantula and a scuba.
Just a little tarantula coming down
with like a little old school diver helmet over his head.
We're not going to do that. That's too much work. In my heart of hearts, I do not believe next week they say No Man's Sky is it. It kind of syncs up timing wise, maybe.
Seems like
but
it doesn't.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
I don't understand if this game isn't on VR, what in the actual fuck they're all thinking over there. And I don't mean at Hello Games, I mean at Sony. This is an example, though, of us wagging the dog a little bit.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, this is the conjecture around No Man's Sky being a PSVR game, so obviously a PSVR game has been going for so long that you would expect that if there wasn't, they would be like, we're not doing that. You know, like at some point, we're not going to do that to like quell these fears. So I don't believe for a second that it's not a fucking PSVR game until they deny it, because it makes too much sense. And to his point, you know, to the listener's point,
Little Myth
about Hello Games being a small team. They are a small team. But Sony should be doing the porting to PSVR for this game. Maybe they have to wait until the game's done, and so it's going to be, and they, you know, that would make sense. And so they have to, you know, give it time and space. But this is such an obvious showcase for that hardware that it would be such a missed opportunity. I'd be super disappointed if they missed this opportunity. There's no excuse. There's just no excuse. So Sony can get a second party to do it, to port the game over and pay them the money to do it, and I think that would make a lot of sense. Or Hello Games can do it by themselves. But I don't. I just don't believe that it's not a PSVR game. It doesn't make any sense. And why wouldn't he deny it?
For us, well, he did. I mean, he did say that. Like, I mean, he didn't say.
He didn't deny it. That's something you said, right? He said that it's something that would be cool, but then
Yeah. Well, okay. So I see what you're saying. It wasn't like he's like no, but
like,
I mean, he made it sound. It was a negative response. I can't remember if it led in with no.
What a disappointment. Like if that's true.
Well, keep in mind too that like I think this is another. You're talking about the wag the dog. I think we've been talking for so long about PlayStation VR, right? And not really knowing what the fuck we're saying because we don't know the technology at all. It's similar to how the prices started hitting for Oculus and for Vive, and we're like, oh fuck, maybe we were wrong about that. But even remember, I think it was Steve Gaynor who was on talking about like HUDs and stuff, right? Where like we're like, well, they do this, that, and then he's like, no, literally it wouldn't work. Like a 2D game, it can't be, and nothing can be 2D. So you'd have to build a completely separate HUD, a completely separate look. Like it's not as easy as porting over. So I don't know, like if that's the thing. If No Man's Sky, yes, is a no-brainer for VR, but by the time PlayStation got on board with Hello Games was already so far gone that they're like, well, no, this isn't. And now we're in this weird coincidence, right, where it's like it's gonna come out around the same time as VR, and they're like,
yeah, but why? Part of the calculus that I thought so there's a lot of interesting story about Sony getting in bed with Hello Games for this game and all this kind of stuff that happened around No Man's Sky. But I always thought part of the equation was so obvious that it was such a showcase for PSVR, so they saw that they wanted to get the game, because otherwise, why is this the game you're chasing? And I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just like, this Hello Games has made it what looks like it's gonna be a very good game, a very solid game with No Man's Sky, but this is not a game that's gonna bleed into the mainstream at all. And like you give them E3 stage time, and you give this game, they did the event for them, and like it's not even a first party game. It's not even an IP that's owned by Sony. Like they're putting all, like, why? You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah.
Like I always thought the why was so obvious, but maybe you're right. Maybe the why isn't that obvious. But to me, the why was obvious, that this was something that was going to be a VR game, and I still just don't believe that it's not. Like to his point about Sony Ben, there's no way they're gonna put Sony Ben's game on VR exclusively. There's no way they'd do that to them. After like making them make fucking PSP and Vita games, like these guys want to make a PS4 game. Their game's a PS4 game.
I'm on a website called Design and Trend, where I'm reading their report of our video with Kevin, and they say the exact quote is, when pressed on the issue, or hold on. While many gamers in the industry believe No Man's Sky is PlayStation VR, essentially for it seems like that support won't arrive immediately. When pressed on the issue by Kevin Coelho, I included that, Murray admitted that, quote, I think No Man's Sky would be a really exciting title on VR, for VR. I think it would be cool, but we're a tiny team working on this game right now. And that's the end of the quote. At the very least, this qualified statement seems to imply that VR features won't be available on day one. So yeah, again, no, it's not a PlayStation VR game.
And this is why I don't get excited about anything. This is why I live a dark and morose life. You know what I mean?
I guess. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't work when you do it.
I know. Number 4. Mass Effect Andromeda, the much-anticipated 4th installment in the core Mass Effect franchise and the first game outside of the original trilogy, has been officially pushed out of 2016 and will now launch in 2017. In a financial call, EA's CFO Blake Jorgensen, who I feel like we talk about every fucking day of my life,
you'd be breaking that news.
Noted that the game will now launch in EA's 4th financial quarter, which nails it between January 1st and March 31st of 2017. He did reiterate, however, that both Titanfall 2 and the new Battlefield game would drop in the company's 3rd financial quarter, which would place them firmly in the October through December of 2016 window. So those two games should still be on pace for the end of the year. We'll probably see them at some, we'll not at E3. We can't say that anymore.
Their little event before E3.
Yeah, but Mass Effect looks like it needs a little more time.
Good, take it.
Don't really need it in the fall anyway.
But I want it in the fall.
Number 5. 2 more major publishers have dropped out of this year's E3, signaling that the long-running world-famous games conference could truly be on the wane. Both Disney Interactive and Wargaming have followed the same path that industry titans Electronic Arts and Activision blazed earlier this year by both revealing, according to GamesBeat, that they will not be on the show floor. While Wargaming released a statement noting that E3's focus on the retail experience simply doesn't jive with their company's products, specifically World of Tanks. Disney's VP of production, John Vignocchi.
Is it Vignocchi?
Vignocchi, I'm going to say.
John
Vignocchi.
Vignocchi. Friend of the show. How you doing, John?
John Vignocchi.
Johnny V.
John Vignocchi.
No. Gnocchi are delicious.
Tweeted out something that's far more telling. Quote, we're focused on different activations throughout the year that allow us to engage directly with our fans and community, end quote. And I think that quote from John is quite, this is where it's all going. E3 is going to die.
You think so?
Yeah.
What if it just gets smaller?
Maybe, but I don't mean it's gonna die this year or next year.
Yeah.
But I think E3 is like not waxing anymore.
It already died once and came back from the dead.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, they killed it themselves. That would never the whole Santa Monica experience never had to happen at all.
Yeah,
they did that. But this is an interesting one because this reminds me of why I think a lot of internet sites are not seem to be doing well, why people seem to be going to YouTube and Twitch for their gaming news, why Ubisoft and Activision and EA and PlayStation and Microsoft are all investing in these significant editorial driven blogs that skip the middleman completely. You don't need them anymore. We're focused on different activations throughout the year that allow us to engage directly with our fans and community.
Right.
They do not give a fuck about the press playing their games.
See,
that's what and that means even us, but that's what I read into that. It's just like, we don't need you guys anymore.
My thing is that I think there's specific people who don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think...
I know what you mean.
I think EA will be back at E3. I think they'll be back. Disney Interactive is what they're talking about. They're talking to John, who is Disney Infinity. And Disney Infinity definitely doesn't need it because, yeah, the mainstream press could give two fucks about Disney Infinity. Vignocchi. Could give two fucks about Disney Infinity. So you talk to the specific... It's similar to what you're saying, like... You said, that they don't have to care about people, including us, right? 100% true. But like, if Warner Brothers Interactive went this way, they'd give a huge fuck about us, right? Because I'm the Lego guy. I love Lego Dimensions, so I'd be talking. You know what I mean? That's how it is going to the micro communities that speak to that community and talking to them. Yeah. What's wrong?
Nothing.
What's wrong? What are you
I was just thinking of something, but I'm not going to say.
Was it the tarantula again?
No.
What if you walked in right now? What if he's just talking? Just a little talk. He's not here to threaten us. He's like the cartoon with like the little black eyes and a smile. You know what I mean? Not the fucking 80 eyes, not the fangs. I mean, his fur isn't like spiky; it's soft.
Oh, okay. You can pet him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Gregory. I think that we are going to see a very different E3 in the coming years. Activision and EA leaving is huge. Wargaming's, we don't play World of Tanks and we don't give a fuck about Wargaming's fucking massive.
Yeah, can't ignore that.
And especially at Gamescom, they have a huge presence there. At least when I was there a couple times. And then Disney, yeah, not a huge, it's people, it's the floodgates are open. These smaller companies, quote unquote, are comfortable because these big cornerstones of the industry are comfortable being like, we don't need to do this anymore.
So do you think you get to a point where even if it's just on Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo, because it's back to what I've talked. I know I beat this analogy. We don't even know if
Nintendo's going to be there with the Wii or the.
I know. Explain to them they're going to be there.
Hopefully, but
so I always use this example where we talk about the spectrum, right? AAA indies, the mid tier of THQ people fell away, right? I feel like that would be the same case with who needs to go to E3. Your Sonys, your Microsofts, your Nintendo need to go there because USA Today does go to it and they do play these games and put out these things and they want to cover your announcement, your hardware, right? And then I feel like if everybody in the middle falls away, who are just publishers, EA, Ubisoft leaves, Activision's gone, Disney's gone, Warner Brothers is gone eventually, right? Then you would still have it where you have these games that are so small that still need to be there. You know what I mean? And you're like, thank you, sorry.
I know what you mean.
Damn. We got to get a counter. Tom Hawkins watched this entire episode and recut it with a counter.
I don't care if you say it.
No,
You're asking me to say it.
I know. I'm glad because I just don't know how many times I say it until you tell me that I'm saying it.
I've been more tuned into it recently.
Good.
But it still doesn't really faze me.
I don't give a shit like if it annoys people. Like I'll you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Holy shit. Now we're like going through the fucking looking glass.
But yeah, E3 is changing, but I think it'll still be there. I think it'll be different for sure. But I think there's going to be people who still need to get their games there and out and let people see them.
We'll see. I don't disagree that there's some sort of market vacuum. What I'm wondering is if publishers are just they don't need the middleman anymore. They don't. And frankly, if I was a publisher, if I was Activision, I'd be like, we're not what?
You think I could hide a tarantula in the thumbnail?
In a thumbnail?
Yeah,
in the thumbnail.
For this episode.
Yeah, probably.
Just that little tiny tarantula in there.
Yeah,
no one know it. All right, cool.
If I was Activision, I would just say we're not announcing anything anywhere except for on our blog. Ever. Like we're just not, we don't need to do this anymore.
What about that Ghostbusters game? They got to announce that sometime.
They do.
Trailer's out now. It's a huge pile of garbage.
Is it? I didn't even watch it because I don't care.
It broke my heart, yeah.
The trailer's bad.
Yeah.
With the
Bad
women
trailer.
cast.
Yeah, but that's not why it's bad.
I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying I want to make sure because there's another one, isn't there?
Apparently. We'll see if whatever comes with that one.
Number 6. What is this?
Got a pop up?
No, I was just reading my email. Number 6.
Virus?
Sony has revealed the best-selling games on the PlayStation Network for the month of February 2016. As always, these numbers are digital only and are determined by number of downloads, not by gross or net revenue, Greg. The top 10 best-selling games on PS4 were Firewatch, Far Cry Primal, Rocket League, Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, Street Fighter 5, Need for Speed, Madden NFL 16, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3. PS3's top 10 best-selling games were Need for Speed Most Wanted, Minecraft, Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, Dark Souls 2, Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Battlefield 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, NBA 2K16, and FIFA 16. Vita's top 10 best-selling games were Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Borderlands 2, Breath of Fire 3, which is a PSP release, Soul Sacrifice Delta, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Z, Persona 4 Golden, Sword Art Online, Hollow Fragment, J-Stars, Victory vs. Plus, Minecraft, and Sword Art Online Lost Song. The top 10 best-selling PS1 classics were Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Dark Cloud 2, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Twisted Metal Black, Dark Cloud, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and Rogue Galaxy.
Ooh.
Number 7. The Division's DLC is officially coming to Xbox One before PlayStation 4. Ubisoft has finally confirmed. This is only true for the first 2 major DLC packs, Underground and Survival, which will release in June on Xbox One and sometime in the summer on Xbox One, respectively. The Last Stand, due out in the winter, will come out simultaneously on all applicable platforms.
I can live with that. I
Number
hope I like it. I hope when we stop and I go play more, I enjoy it more. I mean, I enjoy it. I hope I continue to enjoy it, I should say.
I understand that.
It's got the gear treadmill, you know. I kill some dude, walk over, loot him. Oh, he's got work gloves. Hell yeah. Let me swap those on. Oh, they changed the color? Ooh, doctor.
You got to have work gloves.
You got to have good work gloves in this horrible fucking post-apocalyptic New York. You're going to pick up broken glass? You don't want to get any tetanus from any of the rusty nails you find?
No, you don't want any tetanus. And then, where am I here? Number 8. Dead Island is officially getting a next-gen collection aptly named Dead Island Definitive Collection, which I know you're excited about. The collection will launch on May 31st and include fully remastered and greatly improved, those are in quotes, iterations of the original Dead Island, as well as Dead Island Riptide, and DLC from both of those games, as well as Dead Island Retro Revenge, which was leaked earlier this year and will also be included in the collection. So that IP leaked in a ratings board.
Do we know anything about it?
They said something about it, but I just don't care enough to know anything more about it.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't care about that at all.
No.
I those were games I enjoyed, but they were janky and had their problems.
Well, you enjoyed it until they robbed the platinum from you, and that's a bad thing to have.
It is. It's an unforgivable thing that Dead Island Riptide robbed me of the platinum, and I picked up a recorder that didn't count, and I can never go back and fix it and get it. But I enjoyed my run with it. You know what I mean? I look back at those games fondly.
I know what you mean. All right. Finally, number 9, wrap up.
The old wrap up.
Frantic top-down shooter Enter the Gungeon comes to PlayStation 4 on April 5th.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome. That game looked fucking amazing.
So-called Tetroidvania style puzzle platformer Refactor is coming to PlayStation 4 later this year.
Okay.
Fast-paced platformer 10-Second Ninja X is coming to PS4 and Vita later in 2016. Scrolling arcade shooter Xenoraid, which looks really cool, is coming to PS4 and Vita sometime in 2016. Adventure/exploration game Koi will be coming to PS4 in the spring of 2016. And this game apparently is a Sony-developed game from China. First of its kind. Out of their Sony Computer Entertainment China office. Microscopic survival game VEV, or VEV, Viva Ex Vivo, is coming to PS4 in the summer of 2016 and plans to eventually support PSVR. This is a game, I think, where you're microscopic, you're going through blood cells and all sorts of shit like that.
So it's like Inner Space. I'm Martin Short and you're Meg Ryan.
Well, it's somewhat like
Shuhei Yoshida is Dennis Quaid.
Yes. Monster Boy, the first game in the side-scrolling Wonder Boy series in 22 years.
Wonder Boy.
Is coming to PS4 later in 2016. Tactical shooter Sniper Elite 4 is coming to PS4 sometime in 2016. Co-op arcade puzzler Pang Adventures is coming to PS4 on April 19th. And finally, Overwatch will come to PlayStation 4 on May 24th and will allow early access as soon as May 3rd.
People like that game.
Yeah.
People keep talking about liking that game.
I was going to dedicate just its own space to it, but I was like, yeah, I don't really want to.
We got nothing to say about it. It's one of those ones
I have literally nothing
when people
to say
say Overwatch, I'm like, hey, is that the 2K one? No, that's Battleborn 2. Okay, Overwatch is this no, it's not Paragon. No, this is the Blizzard one that I don't even know what the hell it is. Okay, great.
That's it for
I'm
the news.
super fucking stoked that Enter the Gungeon has a release date. Played that at that Gamescom pre-show thing Nick and I went to years ago.
Gamescom. You haven't gone to Gamescom in
Pre-show, I said.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Preview
how long ago did you play Gamescom?
No.
It's been in development for 17 years.
I was excited about it. I hope it turns out well. Of course, I'd rather it be on Vita, but I understand it needs the power of the PlayStation 4. Colin.
Yes.
Enter the Gungeon's April 5th. That's a long time from now. If I wanted to know what was in stores this week, where would I go?
You go to the upcoming list of... You go to something.
You go to the fucking list.
The PlayStation list of something. I'm too tired. All right, here are the new games. Action Hank comes to PS4 digitally. It says Action Hank is a game about an action figure trying to relive his heroic past. The goal of Action Hank is to... This is what it says. The goal of Action Hank, to use physics and momentum to race through levels as fast as possible.
Okay.
These short levels require you to master all the subtle tricks that the physics-based platforming has to offer, including the famous butt slide. Come on, guys. Writing's not easy.
Is this what you were writing at the bar? Were you writing some descriptions? You were kicking out your
Action Hank is a game about an action figure trying to relive his heroic past. That's great. The goal of Action Hank, to use physics and momentum to race through levels as fast as possible. Okay, so there's a missing word there.
Is there supposed to be... Well, what if it's
there could be a comma.
Yeah. Yeah.
The goal of Action Hank?
Exactly.
To use but it just says there's no punctuation at all.
Gotcha.
These short levels require you to master all the subtle tricks that the physics-based platforming has to offer, including the famous butt slide.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I can't remember that I reviewed the Matt Hazard Eat Lead. It reminds me of Matt Hazard Eat Lead. Remember
I played that shitty game. Yeah,
that was not good. Great
third-person shooter, right?
Great idea. Third-person shooter. Will Arnett was the guy. You're basically Duke Nukem trying to get your mojo back. Great idea. Terrible game. Not terrible, but not good.
Alien Shooter, which might be the worst name of a game ever.
Yo, you like aliens and shooters?
Comes to PS4 and PS3 digitally. Says sinister hordes of bloodthirsty aliens have infiltrated our world. Take on the role of a soldier and head to a secret military laboratory to end this invasion. You'll have a ragtag arsenal at your disposal. Everything from pistols to machine guns. Ragtag arsenal. Keep your eyes open. You never know what's waiting around the corner. Ellipsis. Assault Android Cactus comes to PS4 digitally. Assault Android Cactus is about a team of androids trying to rescue a spaceship by fighting back against the robot uprising. Over a 25-level campaign, the androids will face screens of enemies, brave bullet hell-style bosses, and environments that switch, shift, and transform around them. Blast 'em Bunnies comes to PS4 and Vita digital, and it is cross-buy. In Blast 'em Bunnies, you are a cute cartoon bunny called Bang Bang, who must defend your rabbit burrow against an onslaught of evil bunnies. These bunnies have captured your offspring, and one of them, the evil throat slitter, is holding them hostage.
Jesus. I'm in.
I'm interested in this one, and I really authentically am, because it's surprising that this game actually exists.
Okay.
PS4 digital out 3/9. Casey Powell, Lacrosse 16.
Oh, Jesus.
So this comes out, this is a Wednesday release. Featuring in-depth lacrosse gameplay, high-quality visuals, multi-year Be a Pro mode, competitive online multiplayer, real-time RPG leveling, and character customization. Powell Lacrosse 16 brings the sport to life like never before. I want to see what it is.
Actually, you
I love
should
lacrosse.
get the game and enjoy it, but then you should let Tim and Nick do a Let's Play of it.
Of lacrosse? They have no idea.
Nothing, exactly.
They've probably never seen lacrosse in their lives.
Put on the ref shirt, sit in between them, and have them play.
What a game lacrosse is, though. Don't Die, Mr. Robot comes to PS4. It's digital, and it will be cross-buy with PS Vita's version, which I think came out a while ago. It's Don't Die, Mr. Robot, the cute, colorful, and blissfully frantic action game that arcade fans have been waiting for all their lives. Mr. Robot loves fruit, but whenever he tries to eat one, it explodes. It's not all bad, though.
It's like a curse. It's like one of those $1 million butt questions. You can have $1 million, but every time the thing you love to eat the most, you explodes.
Mr. Robot loves fruit, but whenever he tries to eat one, it explodes. It's not all bad, though. Those explosions destroy the endless horde of robotic machines trying to squish, zap, stomp, and bite him. Sounds like a miserable life.
He's like sobbing. Maybe this is the time I can taste this apple.
Dre comes to PS4 and Vita digitally. It's cross-buy. It's out on the 9th, so it's a Wednesday release.
Like Dr. Dre?
Dre, D-R-E-I-I.
Oh, okay.
Experience the mesmerizing world of Dre, the award-winning collaborative physics conundrum. Dre is a puzzling game about skill, logic, and friendship. It subtly connects players in real time across the world to help one another in a battle against gravity.
Okay.
Hitman comes to PS4 digitally. It's out the 11th, so this is a Friday release. As Agent 47, you perform contract hits on high-profile targets in exotic locations around the world. In the March release, players have access to the intro pack content, prologue mission, the Paris Sanguine fashion show, full access to contracts mode, escalation mode, elusive targets, and other live content. I forgot. I was reading it like this because the game isn't complete.
It's episodic.
I forgot about that. Colat comes out.
I enjoy that you like ran through the French part of it, and then you put like the questiony voice on fashion. You're like, Les Sunny fashion show?
I was like, what am I reading? Colat PS4 Digital. Narrated by Sean Bean and powered by Unreal Engine 4. Colat is an exploration adventure game with elements of horror inspired by a true event known as the Dyatlov Pass Incident, a mysterious death of 9 Russian hikers, which led to countless unconfirmed hypotheses.
Ooh, this sounds cool. I hope it doesn't suck.
Pixel Hunter comes to Vita digitally. Pixel Hunter is about a hunter whose weapons were stolen. His only thought is to find them. During your trip, you'll fight a variety of enemies and face bosses at the end of each level to reclaim your stolen weapons. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. I believe that you can do better than that.
Well, I think the title's confusing. Is he hunt? Do I have to hunt pixels?
He's a pixelated hunter.
Just,
Rise of the Kasai comes to PS4 digitally. It's the PS2 game. Rise of the Kasai is a prequel and sequel to the highly acclaimed The Mark of Kree. The struggle to protect the dark magic of Kree from spreading returns with 4 playable characters, each with their own menacing weapons and deadly combos.
It's a prequel and sequel.
That's what it says. I honestly I don't remember even ever seeing this game.
It seems like
I didn't even know Mark of Kree had a sequel.
Like, that would be like saying episode 1 is a prequel and a sequel to episode 4.
It could be like just jump around a lot. Right.
Oh.
Tetraminos comes to PS4 digitally. The classic arcade game is back in a supercharged version. For beginners or veterans, Tetraminos offers an easy-to-learn limitless challenge. Give your brain a workout with the 50 puzzle mode levels, survive as long as possible in endless mode, and rack up the combos to climb to first place in the online ranking. Maybe unlike Ubisoft's shitty Tetris Ultimate, this might actually work.
Sounds like a game that was like named by the Macho Man.
Tetramino.
Hogan!
Tom Clancy's The Division comes to PS4 digital and retail. This looks like it's the only retail game this week. Tom Clancy's The Division is a revolutionary next-gen experience that brings the RPG into a modern military setting for the first time. Not true. In the wake of a devastating pandemic that sweeps through New York City. That's the sentence.
Wait, give me the sentence again.
In the wake of a devastating pandemic that sweeps through New York City.
Yeah, that's a fragment.
Sounds like a bullet point.
It's a fragment, all right.
As an agent,
it should be in the wake of a comma.
As an agent of the Division, you'll specialize, modify, and level up your gear, weapons, and skills to take back New York on your own terms.
My terms, no fat chicks. That's the bumper sticker.
I'll take back New York and make it the way it was, but no fat chicks.
Can you believe people used to drive around that bumper sticker on their car? What a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, I believe it. I absolutely believe. I remember that world.
Take it back in your terms. No fat chicks.
The final game is Whitetail Challenge. Comes to PS3. It's out digitally.
Now this is a hunting game.
Yep, on the 9th, Wednesday. It's time to take the Whitetail Challenge. The objective is to harvest the legendary monster buck. To reach this plateau, you must first hunt and survive in the preceding 4 levels, progressing to the rugged alpine world, home of the legendary buck. Along the journey are perils that can cost you your virtual existence. This is the ultimate survival/hunting simulation. Do you have the skill to take down the legendary monster buck?
I don't. Wait, he's a monster buck?
That's what it says. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he's just really big, but it'd be awesome if he was like shooting lasers out of his eyes and shit. You know what I mean? Like he's a real monster. Mm-hmm. Whoa.
That's it.
Now that that's over, it means it's time for topic of the show. Tots. Today's topic of the show is sponsored by Casper Mattresses. Obsessively engineered American-made mattresses at a shockingly fair price. And now you can get $50 toward any mattress purchase by going to casper.com/PS and using the code PS. Listen, you spend about a third of your life sleeping. Let's make sure you're doing it on a good mattress. Casper brings together 2 comfy technologies for better nights and brighter days. Latex foam and memory foam. Oh my God, what an awesome statement. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So
Start from the beginning of the sentence.
I think we can do it. That was the end of the sentence. Latex foam and memory foam.
You're a bizarre young man, aren't you?
So they've got just the right sink, just the right bounce, no matter how you sleep. They've got a risk-free trial and return policy. They'll deliver it straight to you. You can try it for 100 days, and if you're not happy, they'll pick it back up. So get $50 towards any mattress purchase by going to Casper.com/PS and using the offer code PS. Terms and conditions apply. Today's topic of the show, Colin, comes from kind of.
You never tell like that never happened.
It's not that I'm not knocking the ad at all. It's just, it's a funny thing to read. Casper brings together two comfy technologies because I've never thought of a technology being comfy together for better nights and brighter days. Latex foam and memory foam.
Those are comfy technologies.
No, I'm not arguing at all that it's just like we just went through all the funny reads there. You read this one. I wasn't expecting this. When you give me the PlayStation Store breakdown, I expect funny words and funny sentences. They're in on the joke. Casper seems like some down-ass people. Casper brings together two comfy technologies for better nights and brighter days. Latex foam and memory foam. They've got just the right sink, just the right bounce, no matter how you sleep. Anyways, today's topic of the show comes from Brandon Marlowe. Tots. Over on kindoffunny.com/PSQ. He says, hey guys. So over Christmas, I picked up the Nathan Drake collection on PS4 to help fill in a serious gap in my PlayStation catalog. I'd only played Drake's Fortune on PS3, and I enjoyed it, so I expected to love the sequels as well. For a number of reasons, however, I was not a big fan. What put me off the most was that every game had the exact same story beat for beat. I went back and read reviews of Among Thieves and Drake's Deception, but almost none of the reviews even mentioned that each game is basically identical story-wise. My question is, why does Naughty Dog and Uncharted series get a pass for this? Everybody constantly talks about how Naughty Dog are the leaders in telling great stories, but I'm honestly questioning that, as the writing on Uncharted just seemed lazy to me. P.S. I've been meaning to thank Colin for turning me on to Ni no Kuni a few years back. Colin was definitely right about that game. Brandon. Now here's the problem. This is, if you remember, the reason I gave Uncharted 3 such a high review, right, was that I loved it so much more than 2 because I said, he's actually quoting me, I feel, that Uncharted 2 was beat for beat Uncharted 1. This is going to happen. This guy turns on me. Supernatural twist. But even that said, I don't agree. You know what I mean? I feel like even though
I know what you mean.
They're very... see, I feel like I should have... Well, here's the problem with the I know what you mean thing, is that sometimes it punctuates the sentence nicely, but I'm using it too much. It's like it's like cinnamon. People like cinnamon on stuff, but I'm putting cinnamon in everything. Right. I got to start limiting the cinnamon.
It's like when people, it's like the obsession with pumpkin.
No, that's perfect.
Which is a terrible thing, and I need to stop. We need to stop putting pumpkin in everything.
No, we need
around October, November.
Well, if we could just have pumpkin stuff all year round.
No.
It seems like people are selling pumpkin bread all year round. In Austin's airport, but anyways.
Fuck this shit. We don't need this pumpkin. I'm sick of the pumpkin. You understand?
It's funny you're saying that because a pumpkin is a fucking American vegetable that's kept us alive through many a cold spell.
It is an American vegetable.
You understand that?
Like everything's American.
It doesn't?
Well, I guess.
Got tattoos on your arms about America? You got a shirt on about America? Got your old chamois there, one of the most American things ever made?
You mean the the microfibricus Clothius?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The thing with the Uncharted thing is that for me, I remember when we were covering Uncharted 1 and they were talking to us about it and it's a pulp adventure and they were like, other pulp adventures are like Indiana Jones, right? And I feel like we've always compared Uncharted to that it's been like that. But I feel like with that frame of reference, that lens is why Uncharted is so successful, is that even though if you play Uncharted 3, you're going to get more out of Uncharted 3 if you've played 2 and 1. You could jump in at 3 and be fine. You know what I mean? It tells you a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know what I mean? By the end, time the credits roll, it's over. There's no hanging thread of what's going to, when Uncharted 4 picks up, we're going to find out what happened here, right? Like, they're self-contained pulp adventures. And so, even when I say Uncharted 2 is Uncharted 1 beat for beat, right? There's still moments in there and lines in there and characters in there and experiences and set pieces and all these other things that make it more than a copy of the same thing I just played. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I stopped it. I stopped that one.
Because I let one go a little earlier, but I was going to have to call that one out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. There's just a structure to these kinds of stories. I do agree that there's some overlap with 1 and 2 specifically. I do think 3 is different, and I think 3 is the best one. But like, how out of the box can you go and still make it feel like something familiar, which is like what the pulp adventure is supposed to be?
Yeah,
you know, the idea of a pulp story comes from the shitty paper that these things were written on back in the day, and people would read a bunch of these and, you know, like basically discard them because a lot of them were the same, but they liked their stories. And so, I mean, I'm not using that as an excuse, but they're not writing, you know, a fucking, you know, Amy Hennig wasn't writing, for as brilliant as she wasn't writing something that was like going to revolutionize storytelling. It was revolutionizing the way games told stories. And so I don't think that we have to, you know, think too deeply about that. That's why I'm interested to see what Uncharted 4 is going to be like with her fingerprints, maybe just cursorily on it, but not really.
Sure.
If this is going to be any different than that. But, you know, it's a legitimate complaint. I just don't agree. And I don't know how you could. Some people do like Drake's Fortune more than Among Thieves or Drake's Deception, but I don't understand how that can possibly be. You know, like not to me. I can understand Among Thieves if you've played all 3 of them.
And you're talking just story or gameplay?
Just everything about the games. Like,
well, I mean,
the gameplay in Uncharted, it changes, but not.
Well, it gets refined.
Yeah, over refined. Some would say in 3 until they patched it. I remember the game was broken.
Right. Yeah, they had a big problem with that. But I mean, like, you know, everybody constantly talks about how Naughty Dog are the leaders in great storytellings, but I'm honestly questioning that. Like, I don't. Even with the same, let's say they are the same beats, right? Even though, again, I think Uncharted 3 is so much different, right? It's the way the characters talk to each other and interact and the way you feel about them based on what you're playing. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it than being the exact same story. I don't know. I don't agree. You know what I mean? Naughty Dog's in a different class on a different level, I think. And I think the games speak of themselves as it's so rare. I haven't even ever had to formulate this argument, I feel like, right? Because I never hear people talk.
Yeah, and I just, you know, I would feel this way with The Last of Us 2 in the sense that I don't know that I'm looking at The Last of Us or the Uncharted trilogy and being like, these are exceptional fucking stories. I'm like, no, this is awesome for a video game to tell a story like this. So I'm not, if I want a great, amazing story, I'm not going to go to a game for it. I'm sorry. You know, it's just, I'm not at that point yet. I play the game. I like story-driven games. I think it's fun to interact with things. That's why I like BioShock. That's why I like Spec Ops. That's why I like Catherine, Gone Home. But if I want a fundamental story, I don't know that I'm going to go to games. So I think that we could just kind of remove that from the equation. The games are not nearly on the level that a book or a movie or a TV show are on yet because it's still young. So it's impressive to see a game. That's not a knock against games. That's saying like they're still coming in their own. It's still a very embryonic kind of thing right now. So we can't look at these stories like, well, Uncharted. Yeah, is Uncharted's story like revolutionary? No, but in 2007 when Uncharted came out on PlayStation 3, that was a pretty significant step up for the way games told stories. And we have to kind of separate those things. The Last of Us is not nearly as good as The Road when it comes to post-apocalyptic stories. Not even close. But for video games, that's a really fucking awesome game and a really awesome story. And the way you go through it is really cool. So I think we have to kind of separate these two things and kind of qualify the way we feel about them.
And isn't that part of the argument too that we're talking about, you know, games versus books or whatever? It is the combination that what makes a game the game is the story mixed with the gameplay, right?
Sure.
And so like kind of when I was reading this in what seems offensive, right? When he's like, blah, 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 I'm honestly questioning the writing on Uncharted just seems lazy to me, right? Like
I always hated that lazy complaint. I hate
and that's the thing is like
Amy Hennig is anything but lazy. We know Amy Hennig.
Sure, but I'm even just lazy and putting that even next to Naughty Dog, right? You sit there and you think about like in Uncharted 2, like the train, right? And how they made such a big deal, like the train was actually going on this path and doing that, and that's why it shifted this way and did it. And they could have done it where you were on the train and the world was blowing by you and the train was stationary, but they were so intent on nailing that, right, that they built the train out and actually had infinite track or whatever in one giant loop or whatever the hell it was.
And Amy Hennig doesn't need me to defend her of all people, but let me just say that saying the writing is lazy, like you don't know anything about Amy Hennig or her approach to writing or her method if you think she's lazy. She is the antithesis and opposite of a lazy writer. She's probably too obsessive and too in the fucking in the weeds with a lot of the things. What I saw, and it came out with a good result, but I've been in her office before with, she had, when I interviewed her for the history of Naughty Dog, they were working on Uncharted 4 at the time. They didn't talk about it, but that's what they were doing. It was obvious, and we kind of alluded to that, but she had books strewn all over her office, on her desk, on this little table in the corner about pirates and 17th century ships and all sorts of weird, and we were going over that kind of stuff. She had a shelf full of DVDs and movies and books that were just reference points for Uncharted, scores, hundreds of things. She was studious to the utmost degree. She is not like, I want to just nip that in the bud because I know he said it kind of in passing, but Amy Hennig is a student of writing and a student of storytelling in video games, and lazy she is not. So I do take issue with that as someone, you know her better than I do, but as someone who knows her and as someone who's interviewed her extensively, as someone who's spent time in her space and talked to her about her method and talked to her about her approach, please.
I hear you. So there you go. Tots. I don't know why didn't more reviews not mention that the things were beat for beat. It's because they weren't as good as Greg Miller's reviews. That's all I'm saying. Colin.
Yeah.
It's trophy time.
Oh.
What do you got for me this week?
Well, I think we'll just concentrate on one game, which is The Division.
Ooh.
So there are other trophies to talk about, but who cares right now? So there's obviously the Platinum. Let me go back real quick if I can. I can't.
Can't go back.
So The Division has 42 bronzes, 5 silvers, 3 golds, and a platinum. So pretty steep amount of
a meaty
bronzes.
list. Too many bronzes.
Yeah, I would say so. So there seems to be story-driven ones. So Get to Manhattan. This seems to be one you're going to get pretty quickly.
I'm going to get it right after I get done with this show.
Secure a sample of the original virus strain. Blah, blah, blah. I won't get any deeper in that because there's going to be some spoilers here. But it seems like when I scroll through this, reach level 30 is a gold. Discover all of the safe houses in Manhattan is a bronze. Finish all of the missions at level 30 on the hard difficulty is a gold. At level 30, start and complete a co-op mission without anyone being downed or dying. So there are online trophies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Activate 63 echo scenes. Have you seen an echo scene yet?
Not yet. Not that I know of. I would imagine they'd make a big deal about it.
And then there are a lot of collectibles. So extract 16 aerial photos from crashed drones. Recover 24 survival handbook pages. Extract 130 phone recordings from phones found in Manhattan. Retrieve 20 missing First Wave Division agent profiles. Extract 40 audio incident reports. Regroup the Fei Lao and the base of operations. And then there's a bunch of rescue these people. Fully upgrade the base of operations. Equip 10 different skill mods. Finish off 50 enemies using skills. Purchase the K9 unit and pediatric care base of operations. Deconstruct 100 items. Craft 10 items. Craft a high-end item. Join or create a group. So then we're getting into some co-op stuff, I think. Revive a teammate 20 times in co-op, which you can probably just milk that if you wanted to.
Knock a guy down, do it.
Heal or buff 100 times whilst in a group. Complete 20 missions as part of a group. Close a car door whilst in cover. Why are they using the term whilst?
I did that. I got that already. Greg Miller.
Kill one enemy with each of the 6 gun classes. Successfully extract a contaminated item from the dark zone. Extract an item at all 8 extraction zones. Extract a superior or high-end item from the dark zone. Kill a named elite in the dark zone. Kill 10 named enemies in the dark zone. Kill a player who has gone rogue. And kill 20 rogue agents.
It doesn't sound impossible.
No, it doesn't sound terrible.
Usually when you start putting online trophies in there, I get annoyed real quick. Most of that, just at a read, not even knowing, some of the dark zone, how it works in terms of the elite, whatever. I think that sounds like it could be a platinum. It could be platinum-able.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, I like that they strayed away from. There's not too many online trophies. It sounds like if you wanted to legit play by yourself, you could probably get 75% or more of the trophies. The dark zone, I don't know that you can really go into without help.
Yeah,
maybe you can. I'll try.
I'll always help you. I'll be there.
I want to be alone.
I want to talk to you. I understand. You're gonna need some help, big guy. I'm gonna be there. Got my submachine gun. Got a little laser sight on it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
So that's it for that.
Well,
Greg. By the way, pinball. I'm just looking through my pinball arcade has 96 trophies now.
Jesus.
All the DLC.
Zen pinball?
No, pinball arcade.
Okay. Is that the one that's more real?
Yeah.
Okay. Some of those trophies were hard as hell. Some of those games were hard as hell. I remember. Played it at the DMV. I remember for a day. We have a trophy time question from Luke. No, it's Lucy. Okay. She at first she spells her name Lucaay with an exclamation mark. And then she signs it, thanks, Lucy, with a smiley emoticon. So we'll call her Lucy.
Okay.
Hello, Greg and Colin.
Hello.
I have a trophy time related question for you.
No.
All right. No. I was wondering what your guys' thoughts were on trophy pictures, as I'm not sure if I've ever heard you discuss them. For instance, is there a certain game you like the trophy pictures for? E.g., I think Fallout games are I think Fallout games are always great. Or do you find it disappointing when no effort is put into them, like for Beyond Two Souls? Or do you not really think about them at all? Thanks, Lucy. P.S. I love you.
I don't think they're necessary, but I mean, it's
I
cool
like
that
them.
they're there.
Exactly. I don't think they're necessary, but I enjoy a good one. I like the Divisions ones. Those are cool looking, right? I always thought that for a game as iconic as DC Universe Online, their trophies were just like whatever. There was like outlines and a little bit of comic art around.
Wait a minute. Read the question again. I think we're talking about two different things. Is she talking about the icons?
That's what I thought she was talking about. What do you think she's talking about?
I thought she was talking about the PS4 taking pictures when you get a trophy.
No. She's talking about icons.
Okay.
Is what I'm talking about. Because she says, for instance, is there certain games that have great trophy pictures? E.g., Fallout.
I thought, okay.
Fallout
I never heard them called trophy pictures, so I understand what she's saying.
Call them? Icons?
The icons.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're actually called. Sony probably has some fucking stupid name that they call them, and then they will trademark symbol after them. So I misunderstood the thing completely.
Okay.
They are necessary. Of course they're necessary. I want to back up. They are necessary. There are cool ones. The Fallout ones are a great example.
Yeah.
I thought she was talking about like what
when you
rewards,
get a trophy and you take it.
Yeah, and like what game would reward has cool scene like you know.
That's stupid because those are always those. That was a cool idea, and like sometimes maybe 1 out of 20 times I want to tweet out a platinum or whatever, just a cool trophy. Like that was a cool screenshot. But generally they're always my character standing there from behind the trophy, and I'm like looking at a corner of the room.
There was like something going on with mine too, where with Far Cry Primal, where I'd get the trophy and I'd hit the button immediately to see, and it would take a picture of me like going into the menu.
Like from the PlayStation Eye, you're sitting in bed going into the menu.
Gotta hope the PlayStation Eye doesn't see what I'm doing in bed. Yeah, no, Fallout's a great example of great trophies. I don't like the ones that don't. A lot of games don't have good ones.
Yeah, and it is lazy, I think, just to have the bronze, to have the silver, to have the whatever. Get in there, do something cool. Base it around your main character. Even Uncharted, I've never been a fan of. There's like
Naughty Dog trophies are so bad.
The 50 on bronze.
Everything about them. That's why I can't wait to see if they've learned any lessons with Uncharted 4. For God's sake.
No, I think it's gonna be the same thing.
Because like after Uncharted 3, I'm like, it can't get any worse than this. And The Last of Us' trophy list was fucking awful. Just one of the worst.
Yeah.
Not at all equivalent to the greatness of the game. The exact opposite. It's like a 1.
Yeah.
And Last of Us is a 10.
I think I finished with like a silver and a bronze. So, yeah, all right, well, fuck this.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I hated that goddamn trophy list. Uncharted 4 better be better. It better be better.
I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Uncharted. They want to send you out the way you came in, with a boot up your ass.
Put some thought into it.
Here's a shotgun. Go kill 50 people.
And then some of them were just getting so stupid. It's like roll around and pick up ammo 20 times in a row or something. I'm like, you guys fucking kidding me? Who's doing this organically? Shouldn't the idea of every trophy just be at least a chance that it's going to happen?
I agree with that. I like that. I like a good organic trophy.
Because there are some that are ridiculous.
I didn't go that in. I glanced at the divisions list, right? And I was basically like looking if there's going to be a lot of multiplayer. And I was like, okay, there isn't, and jumped in. And so when I was in cover and I closed the door and it popped, I was like, neat. I like when that happens.
Okay.
Time for reader mail.
Molotov cocktail.
Oh, mailman, Carl Malone. AP Newman says, hi, Greg and Colin. Given the recent news stories of the Xbox exclusive games going to PC and integration between those platforms, do you think PlayStation exclusives will ever come to PC? And what factor do you think will push Sony in that direction? E.g., Halo going to PC, Xbox exclusives selling well, low future console sales, Nintendo, Colin been wrong. Thanks, Ash. P.S. Do you think it weird that Halo on PC would be enough for me to completely abandon PlayStation for PC? Yes, I think that's weird. You're already seeing this happen, right? I mean, he's talking about exclusives, so I'm going to say No Man's Sky. I'm going to put that out there. That's going to PC.
Console exclusives, right? I mean, he didn't say that, but you're saying No Man's Sky was never an exclusive.
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm using the very much Xbox, PlayStation console exclusive.
Right, so console exclusive.
But let's dial it back from there. I just lost it. The game that just went, one of our games that we like a lot just went, Helldivers. Helldivers went over to PC.
Yeah, Helldivers went to PC. Yeah. Second party games or Sony published games have gone. Street Fighter V is a good example of this. That was released concurrent. I think they know they can make money on that platform. We've not, as far as I know, seen a first-party developed game go to PC. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I'm racking my brain trying to see if I'm wrong. If there's some exception, I can't think of it. So I think I'm pretty much positive about that. So like nothing from Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch or Polyphony or whatever. Like none of those games are on PC. Bloodborne was a game that a lot of people thought would go to PC. I don't think that's ever going to happen. There's no reason for them to do that. Their strategy is different than Microsoft's strategy, I think, and because Microsoft has a horse in the PC race with Windows gaming and the Windows operating system generally. So there's a lot of cross-pollination and synergy, as it were, that can be kind of garnered and taken advantage of there. Sony has no such qualms about keeping things on PlayStation because they do not give a flying fuck about Windows. So
do you think that remote play is a first step towards maybe testing those waters, seeing that
it could be, but I think I think their whole argument could just be like, well, you have to have a PlayStation 4, you can play your games on your PC if you want, but you need a PS4. There's no reason for them to change tracks. I do want to say ancillary to this, but because Microsoft and Xbox did come up in some substantive way, it was crazy to hear about Lionhead and Press Play being shut down today.
Yeah.
Because we've talked a great deal about Sony's internal studios truncating with the closure of, Liverpool and with the closure of Zipper and with closure of Big, etc. But you don't see that with Microsoft too often, and 2 of their studios shut down today. So our best goes out to them affected. But what really surprised me was Lionhead not so much because I feel like Molyneux's not there anymore.
They've been burning on that game forever,
and so they're
no
probably
one's
just
ever been excited for it.
And you have to remember that Microsoft's clearly willing to just remove money and remove like sunken costs. They did the same thing with Phantom Dust, which was not a first party game, or a first party developed game, but an IP they own, and they just sunk a bunch of money and they're like, you're done. So they did the same thing with Fable. Press Play was more shocking to me because they just acquired that studio like not too long ago, and they didn't make, I don't think, anything of any consequence after Max. So, which was a launchy Xbox One game. They were working on Project Knoxville, and they had that really novel approach of having 3 ideas, and then people voted on which one they should do, and they did. So I'd be interested to see what went on with that with all of that, because that was Lionhead again is the bigger story, but not the bigger surprise. Press Play was a huge surprise to me. They just bought that studio.
Yeah, and it was well received, Max. I remember when I didn't like Max when I played it, and people were like, "Oh no," it was good. I was like, "All right," didn't work for me.
Yeah, they did that game Kalimba or something like that too. It was a Kinect game, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
No, Kalimba was different. I played Kalimba with Christine. That wasn't a Kinect game, unless there's another game similarly titled that, but I played a co-op thing.
Maybe that's what it was. That's their game, though, I think.
Okay. Here, while you look, I'm gonna blow my nose and get more water. Talk to the kids. How much range?
Yeah, Kalimba came out Xbox One December 17, 2014, and then Windows April 22nd, 2015. Puzzle platformer. Press Play was the developer. I guess, yeah. So it's not, yeah, it doesn't look like it's a. Yeah, so they acquired the studio in 2012 and they shut it down less than 4 years later.
Hand out.
Yeah, they made Max and the Magic Marker, which was on PS3. I remember I think I reviewed it, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Tentacles Enter the Dolphin, which was a Droid and Android and iOS game.
Tentacles Enter a Dolphin.
Enter the Dolphin. Tentacles Enter the Dolphin, not Tentacles Enter a Dolphin. Max, The Curse of Brotherhood, which was an Xbox One game. Tentacles Enter the Mind. Kalimba, and then Knoxville, which was canceled.
Kalimba was fun.
Anyway, this has nothing to do with PlayStation, but I did want to wish them. Yeah.
Neither did all the stuff in the beginning of the show. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Rizo in it says, "Hey, Colin and Greg. I've recently subscribed to the Vita Lounge on Patreon and have been loving their monthly magazine. No, print isn't dead. Vita Lounge is a good magazine. I subscribe to it too. Through reading a couple of their developer interviews and being pretty on the pulse with the Vita news myself, I've come to the conclusion that Oddworld Inhabitants and Double Fine are the realest MVPs when it comes to developing for our favorite handheld. Every single Oddworld game is on the Vita. Every single one. Double Fine has released Broken Age and Grim Fandango Remastered on Vita and are also working on bringing Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle Remastered to the handheld. As a huge Vita fan, I know I can count on both of them to keep propping up the Vita's rotting remains long after it has passed away. My question is to you, who else do you think will be long supporters of the Vita until the bitter end? Cheers, Ryan. P.S. I would love for you to come to my house so I could cook you a nice dinner."
I like that Drinkbox is making a Vita exclusive still, and that's not out yet. And Severed.
See, I don't like that it's not out yet. Get it out.
Well, I mean, they have to get it out, but I like that
They committed
they got their bread buttered rather by Vita gamers.
Yeah,
and they know that.
I think they for sure saw that.
And I think that with Guacamelee and with Mutant Blobs, which was a launch
I mean,
game, it sold very well.
Exactly. When that launched, and that was like one of the ones where I was beating the drum of like, if you're going to get a Vita, get that game. And it was only like, what, $5 or $9 or whatever it was. I was like, you have to get it. You know what I mean? It was such a great idea. And then you had Guacamelee, of course. I think when you're talking about people who have been great to it and are going to continue to be great to it, NIS puts out so many games for Vita. They're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, NIS is good. Axis is good. AKYS. YSY. Yeah. Axis and then Idea Factory and
Xseed.
Xseed. Yeah, there are especially Japanese-specific publishers that, the Vita's thriving in Japan right now. Second best-selling platform in Japan in 2015.
That's good. I like the Vita.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, how long do you think the Vita has a thriving? Like, how long?
Thriving.
Like, what right now? How we have it? How much longer do we have it? Like we have
2
it right
years.
Now? Yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty good.
I don't think that Sony even pulls it until 2018 at the earliest. Okay. There's no reason. Like what they can. It's probably they're just like, well, it's there.
It's doing
we don't
things.
have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
So it's why not?
Okay, I'll allow it. Royals? No, actually, I'm sorry. I was going to say Royals Now Man. He probably means Royal Snowman. But Royals Now Man would make sense too, man. It's the Royals year. Dear Greg and Colin, kinda. Funny. I know both of you guys are excited to play The Division, but I haven't heard any discussion from you around that game since the open beta. I thought for sure there would be a Let's Play video or Twitch streaming, but there isn't, or I just missed it. I thought maybe the embargo would not lift, I imagine, Easums. And then I found out that there's no embargoes, and there's no early copies released to the press. That means there's probably no detailed review about the game for a week. That normally doesn't mean anything good. I can't remember the last game that didn't give out review copies and still end up with good reviews across the board. I was actually burned on Watch Dogs from Ubisoft a couple of years ago. I didn't wait for the review and bought it anyway, and it sucked. However, I've already reordered The Division based on my experience from the beta, and I'm on the fence to cancel it and wait it out. My question is, should I be worried about the game's quality, and what do you think about this strategy? Because this strategy obviously worked for Ubisoft in the past, and I really want to vote with my wallet. Thanks. Royals Now Man. I think this is one of those situations that's complicated, but I do believe it's having our cake and eating it too in a way, right? We can't have games given to press in a press environment, reviewed that way. They get 9s and 8.5s, and then at launch, the systems are totally fucked and broken. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't think Ubisoft's doing this because fair playing field for all. We want the reviews to reflect exactly what they're, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what's happening. But it also isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know that you want to go out there on launch day and open up IGN and open up GameSpot and see the review and know what's happening and be on the ball. But this isn't a bad thing. I always found it mind-boggling when people got mad at us for doing reviews in progress for a game, right? You get a game, you put up I've played the single player or whatever, I'm going to multiplayer this, or it's an online-only game and I'm not going to be, blah, blah, blah. And people would be so mad that there wasn't a review score. But I don't understand why you wouldn't want to know as much detailed information as possible, because the alternative is you get these reviews that are based on a situation you won't be facing at home, and then the servers do crash and everything goes to shit. What you said in there, I think that is the most telling to me, is that you pre-ordered it based on your beta experience. Like, that should be all you need to know. You played that game. Basing it on my friend Scott, I think he played like 8 hours in the beta or whatever, right? And was totally in, which amplified me. And I was like, good, I don't need to play anymore. I know it works and it's good. Like, the game's good. I think people give not the Division, but games in general and betas too much credit. Like, I've been retweeting all those images of people finding my name in the game, right? Greg Miller's a pretty goddamn common name. I don't know if it's about me, but people are like, oh man, I wonder if they'll keep it in the game. Yes, that wasn't just a beta Easter egg. That's the game. You're playing the game. That's what you know what I mean? Like, that's what the whole point of the thing is like to get in there and experience and test their servers and try this. Why did it happen this way? I imagine they are committed to having big servers and having an awesome day one experience that doesn't crash out and explode. So those servers do need to be rebooted. And I can tell you as a press person, it always sucked playing a game like that where if you were playing something and you did enjoy online, you put all this work in and it's going to get erased. I remember Little Big Planet, that was always a big problem of like, sure, go ahead and try all the creation tools. And like, I put, 10 hours into a level or whatever. And it's like, all right, cool, we got to wipe them. And it's like, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like, come on. And so I don't know how much of that is. I don't know how based on, I've heard, like our friends, like Sean Pitts, one of the best friends. I remember him tweeting about the experience of the beta actually had him leaning towards canceling his pre-order, right? I'm sure he wasn't alone. I'm sure there's people who had negative thoughts, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft looked at it and was like, well, fuck it. Maybe early reviews don't do us any favors because regardless, any game you put out is going to have people who don't like it. But I don't know if this is a different one because of the fact that it is a game that even though you don't have to play it online, apparently, like in my world, right? Like, I ran into the Checkpoint Charlie or whatever and like the place is filled like a lobby, like an MMO lobby with people in there that are doing the same thing. And that's part of the game, the fact that you are this division and you feel that. I'm not sure what their motivations were. We'd have to ask them and know. And even then you get a PR answer. But I don't think it's a bad thing. It can be. We always talk about this, right? But we always talk about it. When we talk about it, we talk about something 6 years ago of like, we've requested copies of the game and we haven't gotten them. So that we're going to have to go buy it at the store. That's a bad sign, right? The thing with Ubisoft, and especially this game, is, it's Monday, the servers went live at 5 a.m., and copies were delivered to my door at 8. You know what I mean? They're not trying to hide this game. I think they're just trying to get all the ducks in a row.
They're clearly not trying to hide it because there was a beta, too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't closed, and it wasn't done by QA, or they didn't pay a firm to do it for them. They released it into the open, which is a cheaper way and an easier way for them to do it, but also a risky way. My assumption is there's multiple things about the division. A, that they probably want to have the populated servers because that's going to be important to the game. Not only that the game functions, but to prove that the game functions to kind of allay fears of people. And also, I think this goes back to the point I was making at E3 that maybe they're just being like, it's not 5 years ago. Like our day one reviews are just not that important anymore. Like our marketing guys are telling us we have 500,000 pre-orders or whatever. Like we don't. I'm just making that number up, but like whatever it is, where they're like, we're not going to push the needle at all by making these. Like it's too risky for us to do anything but just release the game in the wild at the same time to everyone. And Ubisoft's a very, very smart company with a lot of people working there that concentrate on very specific minutia, and I'm sure that they looked at their numbers and the division's been burning a long time, and they're like, let's just do it this way. And I think that's smart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more perplexed by the fact that you played the beta and didn't believe enough in the experience that now you're worried about it. You know what I mean? Because I guess that betas have gone bad before and this, that, and the other, but like, you're playing an extended demo. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. We always ask, why aren't there more demos now? And they've been replaced by betas, right? And the beta experience, from what I understood, is somebody who barely touched it but listened, ear to the ground, was that it was well received. You got to trust yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I also think the division is just going to be a good game. So we'll see how it all shakes up.
Sure.
Having not played a single second of it and just seen some things about it, I watched you play it a little bit today. Yeah. I think it's going to be exactly what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. I made a joke about the gloves earlier, but like that's what I thought it was going to be, and that's what I'm totally stoked to do. Go through, kill a bunch of these guys in hoodies, ransack their bodies. Great, let's go on to the next quest. You know what I mean? Keep leveling up.
I know what you mean.
Damn it. Joshy86 says, hello, gentlemen. Remember, he wrote into kindoffunny.com/PSQ just like you can. I'm a newish listener, and I've been loving everything about this show until recently. A couple weeks ago, Fallout 4 Settlements came up on the show, then again on the Gamescast. You both stated that you hope Bethesda leaves this out of future games. Even though settlement building remains one of my favorite parts of the game, I understand they may not be everyone's cup of tea. My question is this: why do people, yourselves included, get upset when things like this are included in a game? Since it doesn't interfere with the rest of the game and could easily be ignored if you don't care about the platinum, why say you don't want it to be included? Why not instead applaud the developers for putting extra stuff in their games? Thanks for keeping me company on long drives, Josh. P.S. Even though we disagree sometimes, I still love you. We still love you too, Josh, but you're wrong. The problem here is that Fallout 4, and Colin, I think will agree with me here, doesn't make a huge leap from Fallout 3. And one of the few bullet points they can put on their box to say, this is why Fallout 4 is better than or different than Fallout 3, is this settlement system that everybody who gets the platinum can tell you is busted and doesn't track happiness correctly. And then, as I'll tell you, just isn't fun to do. Like, it is the new feature. So even though we're not giving you reviews of the game, they took a swing and missed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to go to Elder Scrolls. I don't want that to be... I don't want them to double down on that.
Well, I think that most people would agree with us. And I think that it's oversimplified, but it's not to say that it does affect other parts of the game. Game development is about money and resources, right? So if there's a pie chart of little slivers of investments that Bethesda made into the game, and these guys are writing it, and these guys are coding it, and then they had to take a few people probably and be like, you guys are going to make this work. And those guys could have been made pathfinding work better for your fucking followers, or they could have, done all sorts of different things to make the game run better in other ways. But so like there is an opportunity cost with everything that's in a game, and any game developer would tell you that.
Yeah.
So you have to like let some things go, and that's not something they did let go, and they like it, and they did show it off when the game was revealed, and they're proud of it, I'm sure. And I'm sure that some people play it, and clearly they must be getting feedback that people are playing it because they're investing some DLC and some ideas into it. And I think that they probably
I still think that the tracks might have been laid for that.
Maybe, but they also had time to back out. They had I mean the game came out in November. They didn't really announce it till February. They had 4 months to look at metrics and be like, well, we don't have to do this, or we shouldn't do this. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. But I don't know. I just think that there's so much more to it than to say like, well, this is here for X, Y, these few people. And I'm like, well, but if this wasn't here, something else would be more refined or better. Or there'd be something new elsewhere in the game that could be better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's common sense.
Yeah.
Not that he's right or wrong. I'm just saying there is an opportunity cost. If the team has 100 people, which Fallout 4 said way more than that, but if a team had 100 people and 5 of them had to go work on this thing, that means that 5 of them weren't working on something else.
Agreed. Final question of the week comes from kindoffunny.com/PSQ. Just like you can write in, just like Church of Baseball did. Good evening, guys. How did he know we'd be recording it at night? P.S. I love you is always the highlight of my busy week as I study journalism at a very tough university. Parentheses. P.S. Colin, you are my industry hero.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you.
I've been obsessed with the first parties in the upcoming E3, and I came to a realization. Scott Rohde said that Sucker Punch is still in the beginning stages of their new game. This makes me wonder, do you think we'll see them at E3? Colin?
No.
Why?
Too early. I think that if anything, we're straying towards later releases, like announcing things closer to release. And I'm not entirely positive they've settled on their new project. Like,
Shuhei's played it. He said at E3.
Yeah, he played a prototype. Like I
know.
We don't know it's being greenlit. We don't know if they have other ideas. We have no. Sucker Punch has earned space and time to figure things out, and I'm sure that by now they've probably figured it out. But because the burn rate of a studio that big working on nothing for a long time is a lot, millions of dollars. But yeah, I think it's too soon. I think this E3, it's obvious. You're gonna see Bend. I don't know. I say that every year. I think
every show.
But I think Santa Monica will probably be there. I think that'll probably be the big reveal. So for the first party, and probably something from a second party studio as well. So like an Order 1886 style PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Sure.
I wouldn't count on seeing Sucker Punch now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that even though we make the joke that Shuhei's played it or whatever, I think that even that it's what you said. He's playing a prototype. Like I don't think that they're far enough along to come out and be like, here's the game and it comes out this fall. No, and so if they're not going to say that, then why even tease it? You know what I mean? Now, granted, you can look at Horizon. They announce Horizon, do Horizon, it comes out the next year. But even then, are we that close? It's what you're saying. You know what I mean? That it takes long to make these games. Time is spent. You need to let these ideas marinate right before you put them out.
And they needed Horizon. I don't think I don't know that they intended on announcing Horizon that early. I think that they looked at their catalog. We got to announce something.
You think so?
Yeah, because what else is? I mean, there's Uncharted that we already knew about.
Yeah.
There was The Last Guardian, which like no one believes is even real still. You're not left with much else. I mean, you have Dreams, but that's not going to make a huge impact. I still don't know what that game is. I know people are mad at me for that.
You'll find out at GDC.
So I think that Horizon was one of those games where I'm like, we got to say something.
It looked good.
And you
though.
guys are. It did.
Enough.
It wasn't running great, but it was far enough along where they were like, well, make a vertical slice and let's just do this. And the vertical slice, by the way, was identical between E3 and Gamescom, or E3 and PSX. So
I think you're going to see more of that. I mean, that was always.
Oh yeah, that's going to be huge.
The bucking of the trend of it. And we're not going to make a million demos. We're going to make you one demo. We're going to work on this goddamn game.
I'm really hoping that game hits this fall. I think that it has to. It has to come out this fall.
Okay. I think it will.
I think it will too. I
think it has a chance to slip, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, I think that they can't go another fall without a big game.
Yeah.
And unless something they haven't announced yet is going to be at the big game this fall, which I don't know why they would do that.
PlayStation VR, man.
Yeah, but you need a PS4 game.
I know. That wasn't my real out. I'm just saying. That's what they tell you. Just like I'm going to tell you, it's time to talk about P.S. I love this best friend XOXO. And to tell you, it's sponsored by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for the epic geek and gamer items for pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 4 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/PS and enter the code PS to save $3 on any new subscription. Loot Crate is more than just a subscription service. It's an entire community of fans that share their experience and interact with each other around the unboxing of each month's crate. And they guarantee $40 or more in every crate, sometimes a lot more. Every month, there's a different theme, and all the items are curated around that theme. This month's theme is Versus, celebrating some of the greatest rivalries in pop culture. Dark Knight versus Man of Steel, check. Alien versus Predator, of course. Daredevil versus Punisher, sure. Spock versus Mirror Universe Spock.
Stretch it a little bit. You didn't even need to put that in there. You could have just had that, and that.
Our exclusive items include something you can display, something you can wear, and something you can use. And don't forget our tea and loot pin. Remember, you have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, Jackie T, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/PS and enter the code PS. Save $3 on your new subscription today.
Hey guys, I love Loot Crate.
Hey guys.
A
lot of exciting things are happening at Loot Crate. P.S. I love this best friend XOXO.
Like
I know, it's the worst. He's going to walk in one day and be like, I don't sound like that. Is where we read off one of you who needs PSN friends. You go to kindafunny.com/forums. You go there, you click into the PS I love you board, you put in this thing. Is it forums or forum? You think they both go there? Kindafunny.com/forum. Give me a search there. Today's is Timothy Callahan. Timothy Callahan writes in and says, yo, I am riding the hype train all the way to the Division and would like some friends to join me on this adventure. This will be my first multiplayer game I'm going to invest time in. I've always been a fan of Tom Clancy, R.I.P., from the books to the games and even that Alec Baldwin movie. I've tried multiplayer games before like Titanfall and Destiny, but they did not tickle my fancy. Third-person shooters are my jam, and the setting should have fun and interesting story threads that will keep my attention. My PSN name is Timothy_Callahan. TIMOTHY_CALLAHN. Thank you, Timothy Callahan. P.S. I love you, XOXO.
It's forums plural. Forum 404.
Kind of funny. And that's a good 404. Kindafunny.com/forums. Go there. Post to be one of the P.S. I love you best friends, just like Timothy_Callahan did. Everybody who wants to play Division with it, hit up Timothy_Callahan. Colin.
Yes.
What is this week's forgotten PS game?
I want to talk about a Vita game, and this is a weird one because it's a game you can play on a lot of platforms. But I want to give a shout out to Plants vs. Zombies, which I feel like was like one of the first major time sinks ever on Vita for me.
Okay.
This was around the time, it was not a launch game, but it was around the time when Unit 13 came out. So this was like a 2012, Q1 2012 game. Platinum Trophy, which was awesome. That was like, I remember, no, I got almost every trophy except for you have to like harvest the plants and all that kind of, it's like you have to like get the coins and buy shit. It takes fucking forever. I don't have time for that.
Nobody got time for that except Andrew Goldfarb.
But Plants vs. Zombies on Vita is awesome. And I'm not sure, it was really expensive when it came out. It was like $40, I think. But I
really?
Yeah, like or $35 or something. Wow. It was really expensive.
I mean, I remember getting it. I loved it. It was great.
Well, we got the codes for it, so we didn't know like.
Sure, that makes sense. We're in a golden parachute. We don't care.
Well, it's not a golden parachute.
I'm just using my golden parachute every time I get a free game. Isn't that what it means?
No.
So when the Enron guys use their golden parachutes, they didn't get PSN codes?
I want a golden parachute out of this company. Yeah, so I think that it probably can't be that expensive anymore. I don't know, though. You should look before you buy it, obviously. Yeah. But I think it's a really capable or competent, I should say, port of that game. I think Sony Online Entertainment actually did the porting. I don't think PopCap did.
Sounds right.
And I liked it a lot. You can use touchscreen, you can use the face buttons, but and the D-pad or the analog sticks. I love Plants vs. Zombies. I think that's a really fantastic game, and I think they really fucked the second one up. So that first one though,
that was the one with all the microtransactions.
God, man, yeah, it pissed me off so bad. I was like, just let me fucking pay for it, because if you nickel and dime me like that, I'm not going to give you anything.
And you didn't.
No,
X didn't give it to him either.
No.
Good pick. Time for my pick of the PSN's worst name of the week. You go to kindafunny.com/forums, go to the PS I Love UXO board, and post your bad name. No more of this bullshit. You saw this guy in Rocket League who had a name that said Tubes Tied. I want your name. This one comes from a name that I'll read soon and you'll know who it is. Greetings and salutations. I think my story has to be one of the most awkward, worst PSN name stories of the week. I went into work one morning and was supposed to be a normal day. I was sitting at my desk when the people around me started talking games, as we usually do. Our boss came walking down the hall and overheard the conversation, and as it turns out, he was into gaming too. This caught us a little off guard because he did not strike any of us as the kind of middle-aged man who would play video games. So we talked, and then he left. And then the workday ended. I went home and got on my PS4 with a couple of other buddies from work to play some Rainbow Six Siege. As the party was forming, someone I didn't recognize joined up. I asked, "Who's the new guy?" And my buddy told me it was our boss. My boss plugged in his mic and simply asked, ... Who is Dumpster Orphan? I am Dumpster Orphan. Needless to say, this caused the next few months of my job there to seem somewhat awkward, and my boss never really looked at me the same after. Please, Shu, let me change my name. For the love of God, please. Thanks so much for everything you guys do. Much love and support,
name,
Dumpster Orphan.
Don't change that name. That's a good one.
P.S. I love you lots. P.P.S. As I left on my last day, my boss did fist bump me and say, "Later, Dumpster Orphan."
Nice.
So I guess that's cool. ... Question mark.
Later,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good story. Don't change Dumpster Orphan.
Dumpster Orphan's
Be proud.
really good.
Embrace the Dumpster Orphan.
Yeah, it's not even that embarrassing.
If more people embraced orphans, there wouldn't be this many Dumpster Orphans.
That's a great point. What's wrong with you, America? Solve the Dumpster Orphan problem we have brewing in the streets. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been P.S. I Love You XOXO episode 26. Thank you so much for your support. Remember, P.S. I Love You XOXO is a product of kindoffunny.com. So go to kindoffunny.com, watch all the videos, subscribe to all the YouTube channels, rate all the podcasts, tell your friends about us, even if you only have a few friends and they're all dumpster orphans. Just tell them about it. And they'll come to Kind of Funny and they'll say, "That's cool." I'll remember at the end of this video, I'll have an annotation to a video that's announcing a Vita game that's coming from the guys who already announced the PlayStation 4 game. And you'll be excited about that. Remember, we post every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and we love you very much. And I'm sure I don't have to remind you that every episode of P.S. I Love You XOXO ends in a song. In a segment we call Singing a Shoehei. Remember, are you a musician? Remember this question.
Are you having a fucking stroke?
I am. I'm having fun today. This is a good show. If you are, go to kindoffunny.com/PSM where you can submit your music to end every episode of P.S. I Love You XOXO. I'll need an MP3 link I can download. I'll need a YouTube thing because what I do on YouTube is I annotate out to your music video, and on the MP3 I play your song and everybody goes and buys your stuff and you get super rich and nobody can fucking believe it. Today's song comes from Eco the Rain Man, a friend of us. IKO. I say Eco. Is that how you pronounce it?
Presumably.
All right. Hello, Kind of Funny crew. It is I, your graceful rap detective in the virtual flesh, Eco the Rain Man, your friendly, nerdy neighborhood rapper. It's been a long time since I've sent you any music, R.I.P. Ryan's wrap-up, and I wanted to share with you some new music from my new album, Tales from the Attic. This song I sent you here is called Run Barry Run, and it is themed after CW's The Flash TV show. Of course, this is when I stopped reading the post and just downloaded the song and was like, you win. I am absolutely in love with the show and decided to write an inspirational song about achieving your goals and chasing towards success, believing in the impossible, even the world tells you you can't do it. If you guys like the song, tweet at me and the producers of the show. I want to be on an episode. You're not going to be on the episode. But if they like the song, tweet at the producers of that show, not our show. I was like, Nick's not going to put you on this show. Sure, everybody. Tweet at Greg Berlanti. Try to get Eco the Rain Man on an episode of The Flash. My album, Tales from the Attic, is now available wherever you purchase your music. You can pick it up on iTunes, Amazon, or stream it on Apple Music or Spotify. Follow me on Twitter at Eco the Rain Man and subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/OP5TV. That is how you promote yourself and your song. So many kids just sign off. Here's the link to download it. Like that, I can't send anybody to buy your music there, but Eco the Rain Man, I can send them to buy your music. Tales from the Attic. This is Run Barry Run, and until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.